Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Hager. This is their part number 40R 3.5 by 12 and a 10B finish. This is a push plate is what it is. Got some oil mark here. That's very typical, very common for oil rub bronze. We've got our fasteners. Let's pull this out of the packaging and let's take a closer look at it. So this is a 40R, and that is a reference to the thickness of the material and the radius corners. Okay, this happens to be 3 by 12, so it's a very nice, petite sort of pull handle that you're going to see really in residential applications. And where you're going to see this all the time is when you have a door between a dining room and a kitchen, or a kitchen and a hallway leading to other areas, or to a mud room, you know, different sorts of applications. Laundry room, I've seen them as well. This client happened to order a replacement trim plate set only for a Bomber 7801 series double acting horizontal floor pivot. So the trim plate's only in oil rub bronze. They then ordered 2 push plates. So clearly what I'm thinking they're doing is just updating the color of the material of what is on the current doors. It could be polished brass, it could be satin chrome, whatever the situation calls for. This is made of bronze, and you're going to always see something like this on the opposite side because this is a living finish. This is an unstable finish. This is a finish that over time, when you touch this, you'll wear off the oil rubbed process that's been done, revealing some of these bronze tones. It won't look splotchy like that. It will look more organic of a process. But on that same door, these plates that are going to be on the double acting floor pivot, they're going to stay the same finish for the most part. So this client's going to have push plates that will wear and reveal the bronze tones underneath, and it should look quite elegant actually. If you don't want that finish to wear off with time and use, if I were to take a cloth and wipe that 10 times, it's going to be a lighter shade. Then you don't want oil rub bronze, or what would be called 613. Hager calls this US10B. That's oil rub bronze. That's the US number. The US system came into existence in about 1930. Hager goes back way before 1930 in terms of a company. But the BHMA code probably came into existence in the 1960s, is my guess. I've not tracked down the age of the Builders Hardware Manufacturers Association codes when it comes to finish. US10B tells us oil rubbed, but BHMA has a 640 and they have a 613. They both mean oil rubbed. This is 613 because it's made of bronze. This is 640. It's oil rubbed, but it's made of steel. Okay, it's made of steel. That is not. That's the difference. 613 and 640, they both mean oil rub, but one declares the base material. The BHMA code declares the base material. So they have this at 3 by 12, 3 inch wide, 12 inch tall. You can obviously order this in other sizes, 3.5, 15, 4 by 16, 6 by 16. Because it's just a flat piece of plate, you can order it in any size that you want. You can literally order any size you want. You want 4 3/4 by 20 3/4? Not a problem. It's just something that we get quoted from the factory, and there you go. It's going to be available in different finishes because it can be. It's available in different base materials: aluminum, stainless steel, brass, bronze. You can do your brasses, your bronze, your chromes, your nickels. You can do black powder coat. You can do oil rub. You can do antique bronze with a lacquer. You can do clear aluminum, dark bronze aluminum, satin stainless, polished stainless. So any finish that can be done on a base material, Hager can replicate this. And it may not all be in the site, but Hager has a complete, capacity and capability of doing finishing. So let's switch to the screen view now, and let's take a closer look at the supporting information. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Okay, let's take a closer look at this item that we have here. Just a generic image from the factory. Speaking of images, let's look at some actual images. There's your plate and the screw pack. The plate alone, showing the countersunk washers, pardon me, the countersunk holes. Little close-up view of that. Both that radius around the corner. There's what is called a pencil wipe, or a pencil bevel, I should say, along this edge. Hard to tell, but that's a very small break so that it's just not sharp metal. A little better view, I suppose, of the finish. The backside, don't be alarmed, that's normal. Your fasteners, these are 6 by 5/8 oval head undercut. The screws will stick out a little bit, but they're undercut so that they are as countersunk as possible, rather than it being a true flathead or an oval head type screw. They undercut that underside. Okay. All right, now information down below. You can see that that says square corner, but by the time you're seeing this video, that will say radiused corner. Non-beveled, there is a pencil wipe, a very small break, but it's not technically a beveled edge. Just broke enough so that you don't cut your finger on it. Oil Rubbed Bronze, 3x12. Now it's 50 thousandths. That's also inferred in the part number, the 40. When I put a caliper on this, which I'm going to do now, I can tell you that the material actually measures 0.045. So I would say that would be within tolerance. Reference to the fasteners, 6 by 5/8 oval pan head tapping screws. You can order these cut for cylinders or engraved. There's options that you can do on these. If you want a hole in here for a cylinder or a lock, or you want to have a special size and and 2 holes drilled, whatever fabrication you need, Hager can quote that. You can also engrave them, push, obviously. There's a template. Let's take a look at that. That's a handy document. It will show you the other standard sizes and how the dimensional properties change as the overall sizes change. 1/2-inch radius is what they're telling us here on the corners. My opinion is that the radiused corner is nice for residential applications. Square corner a bit more commercial. Radiused is nice for residential. Okay, gives you an idea of what that countersink looks like in the hardware itself. There's also a link to the product catalog, and that's going to give you a 4-page overview. So as you look through here, you'll be able to see the different part numbers that they have. A 30S, and an A30S. The thickness is what changes. My opinion is that you would order the A30S if you were doing an aluminum-based material, is probably how that works. Our 40R and our A40R, same scenario. They do list all the different finishes that are available here as well. Because it's Hager, they can do other finishes. If you needed powder-coated black, if you needed antique bronze with a lacquer, they can do that. If you wanted polished bronze, they can do that. Satin nickel, polished nickel, that can all be accommodated. Aluminum. Screws, the option. For sizes or finishes not listed, contact Hager for availability. Absolutely. These are the standard sizes. 3x12 is pretty typical when you're dealing with a residential door that has maybe 4-inch stiles, or something smaller on the stiles, or a smaller door, like a 2'8", door. You get into the 3.5 by 15 and a 4 by 16, you're still kind of residential, but this is absolutely commercial. You get into the bigger 6 and 8 by 16, then you're dealing generally with public projects. City Hall, public libraries, courthouses, where you have a tremendous quantity of traffic. And the reason that it's nice to have a wider plate is the human hand is just way bigger than 3-inch wide. So you'll see a wear pattern on the door of where your hand touches and overlaps the hardware. Well, if you double this size, your hand is going to stay safely on the push plate. And you notice the next time you're in a heavy commercial application, it's likely that you'll see a wider plate It's because it keeps the door from being worn down. 50T, that will be a radiused end, is what that would be, or a round corner they call it, but I would call it a radiused end or radiused corner. 60S, this is going to be made of plastic, 1/8 of an inch thick, and you can continue on to see how this material changes. More laminate. Now the 80S is the same as the 30S, which is the standard. The 30S is the most common plate that you're going to order from Hager. 30S, 50 thousandths thick. If you wanted one that was 125 thousandths thick, you order the 80S. A much heavier item, far more robust, and appropriate for public projects because of its durability. A 90R, which is a 125 thousandths version of the radiused corner. 100T, square corner, rounded bevel, top and bottom push plate. Yeah, so they'll do a different treatment on the ends at 1/8 of an inch thick. Half circle, these are not uncommon. You'll see those on pairs of doors in movie theaters all the time. A combination push and pull is what this is. You'd put that on both sides of the door if you had a double acting door. And then stuck in here is their security set, where these are going to be very likely bolted to each other, through bolted. Then you have a pull that could be mounted under a rim cylinder if you had like a rim exit device. So pretty handy document to be able to look at there. Now, below this video, speaking of handy documents, let's see, we've exhausted everything that's here. Now this link here to the manufacturer's page, when we click on that, that's going to allow us to review not only all of the Hager products that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. The name Hager is quite synonymous with all things door hardware related. Other resources on this, other than the catalog, will be a link to the 2010 ADA standards for accessible design. Why would we have that federal guideline when it comes to federal mandate when it comes to ADA compliance? Well, Hager makes weather stripping. Weather stripping is most definitely governed by that, thresholds in particular. There is a link to the Hager keying service manual. Hager has its own proprietary platform of keying. I have a companion video that goes along with it here explaining it. Hager product finishes guide, other resource type documents. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. In conclusion, the name Hager is quite synonymous with many different product groups. Their namesake is Hager Hinge. Yes, they make hinges. Residential, commercial, institutional, industrial, Roton aluminum continuous geared hinges, door closers, lock sets, exit devices, electrified hardware, trim and auxiliary like this, push plates, pull plates, protection plates, sliding door hardware for residential applications. They get into accessory hardware like signage, many other items. Their catalog is definitely worth a trip through. They basically sell everything for the door and frame, with the exception of the door and frame itself. If you have any questions on the Hager 40R in a 10B finish or any other Hager product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.